All right, so we have our scene, our sample scene set up. Immediately I'm going to save a new scene. I'm going to call it in my scenes folder. First scene, and I just make sure that that's open. And I like to always delete my sample scene. I'm going to go ahead and import my assets that I need. So I can go File or Assets, Import Package, and if you have your standard assets, you can get it from there. If you don't, you'll need to get it from the Asset Store. So within the Asset Store, all I need to do is search for standard assets, find the one from Unity Technologies, and import it, or download it and import it if you don't have it downloaded. And I'm going to just collapse both of those folders. I'm going to uncheck sample scenes. I never really need sample scenes. And then in standard assets, I'm going to uncheck 2D. Let's leave cameras, characters, cross-platform input, editor, effects. I'll take off environment. I don't really need it. Fonts, whatever. Particle systems, whatever. Physics. Prototyping, nope. And then utility is the important one for this tutorial, and we're going to be using drag rigid body specifically. All right, so make sure utility is checked. Vehicles I don't need. Okay. Now I click import. It's going to write the package. It'll take a little bit of time. Once everything comes in, I'm going to set up my first-person controller, and then I'm going to set up a few rigid body objects, and then apply that script to them. The script is really simple, and it uses basically the center of your screen as a kind of crosshair to pick up and drag and move objects by default. So it saves you a lot of work. All right, so our standard assets are imported. I'm just going to get rid of the main camera, and I'll create a plane. Make it large enough to work with. Let's create a cube. I'll duplicate it and duplicate it one last time. I'll also make a sphere. So the sphere, I'm going to add a rigid body. And then on one of the cubes, I'll add a rigid body, and then on the last cube I'll add another rigid body, or second to last cube. This one I'll leave the same, just so we have different experiences. Let me just make sure that this is all good. This is annoying. I usually just delete this water script because I don't actually need it. I can just delete this whole water package, I think. Yeah. All right, so let's get our first-person character controller in here under character, first-person character, prefabs. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good. All right, let's grab the FPS controller. I'll just drop it in. Let's hit play, make sure everything's working. Yep, so we got 3 rigid bodies and 1 non-rigid body. Just so that it's easier to see, going to make a material. All right. So let's go back to the utility folder down at the bottom in our standard assets. And the one that we're going to use is drag rigid body. Whenever you click any of the utility scripts, it'll give you info on the side. And on the side, you can actually read through the script, or you can just kind of figure it out. In this case, what we want to do is, I believe we want to put this on our rigid body itself. So let's give that a try first. So I have my sphere selected. I believe I just drag and drop drag rigid body onto it. Let's see if that works. I'll hit play. works, but my mouse is terrible, so it doesn't really move all that much. So you just apply that script to the actual object that you want to move, not to your camera. This ball is having a life of its own and rolling off now. But you can drag, as long as it's in the center of the screen, you can kind of drag and move it around. I don't know why it's going so slow. Let's lower the mass on this to like 0.5, and let's lower, well, it doesn't have any drag, so let's hit play. That's a little bit better. So you can knock other... I'm just holding down and clicking right now. Just clicking and holding. Knocking over other objects. But I can't pick these up. Oh wait, I can. It's letting me pick up any of them. Well, then maybe drag rigid body is just something that applies in the whole scene. I haven't actually looked at the script, so let's see. Yep, it just grabs anything in the scene. So you actually don't need to apply it to the body, I guess. You would just apply it to any object in your scene. So we could remove that. Let's apply it to an empty game object and see if it still works. Yep. Cool. So as long as it's somewhere in your scene, every rigid body will be draggable. If you want to change that, you could probably mess with the script a little bit. But that's it. So you just apply it anywhere in the scene, you're good to go.